Good morning, everybody. It's Jeff Goldberg for the Sales Pro Network. It is Friday, September 30th. I'm broadcasting from New York. And unfortunately, our guest for this week backed out, but I did want to share just a couple of thoughts with you. If you're watching us live, please do say hello in the comments. If you're on Facebook and watching live and you say hello and you haven't connected your account to StreamYard, I'm not going to know who you are. So if you do say hello from there, please be sure to put your name in. If you have any questions that I can answer for you today, I'm happy to do that. If there's any coaching or advice you need for your sales, as many of you know, I am a sales coach and trainer. I work with both individuals and organizations internationally to help them get measurable and sustainable sales increases. And I just wanted to share a couple of quick thoughts with you because given that today's September 30th, that means today's the last day of Q3 and tomorrow begins Q4. And so I think at this time of year, it's crucial to, first of all, evaluate where you currently are towards your goal. You've got 3 months to hit your annual goal. And if you are like most salespeople, the things that you start right now, unless you have an incredibly short sales cycle, are probably going to be coming to fruition either late Q4 or early Q1 of 2023. So it's a great time to take a look at how far are you towards your goal and how much do you have left to go. If you're not 3/4 of the way, then you could be in serious trouble right now. So first thing is, where am I and how much more do I need to close between now and December 31st? And then you need to figure out what's my average dollar volume per sale. So every sale, in most sales, there are different things that you might be offering for different prices, but each of us has an average dollar volume per sale. It's easy to figure that out. And when you know how much dollar volume you need to close and your average dollar volume per sale, you then know how many sales you need to close between now and the end of the year in order to achieve your goal. Good morning, Valerie Heffron. Good to see you. So once you know that, it's then important to figure out how many appointments do I need? How many conversations with prospects do I need to have in order to get that many people in the pipeline? And then based on your closing ratio, how many of those do you need to close? When I went to work for my previous employer, I was not a big numbers guy, and I still don't love numbers. It's not my favorite thing in the world. But the one thing that guy taught me was that metrics are crucial in sales. So these are some very basic things that it's important to figure out right now so that you can end your year strong. Good morning, Ben Gibbs. Good to see you, my friend. As always, one of my favorite salespeople in the world. Ben says, Jeff, we miss you, and I miss you too. I'm hoping that your new sales manager, though, is working out terrific. For those of you who don't know, one of the services I offer is outsourced sales management. I was fortunate enough to work with Ben Gibbs, who just said hello in the comments, a real pro who I highly admire and respect. So once you figured all that out, how many sales do I need to make? How many calls or emails do I need to send out to get so many appointments? Then you've got to go through your CRM. Whatever CRM you're using, I don't care. But take a look at everybody who you've met with during this year who did not buy and reach out to them. I guarantee you there's gold in your database. My dear friend Mitch Tobel, who's an incredible marketing guy, he and I say this all the time. There's gold in your database. There are probably people who you spoke with sometime this year or maybe even late last year who weren't ready to buy then, but may very well be ready to buy now if you just reach out to them. So often I find that salespeople don't do the simplest thing, which is just reach out. Send a text, send an email, make a call, which is even better. I always advise, do the thing that's most likely to put you in front of that person. I happen to be a big fan of calling. I'm not talking cold calling. While I still believe that it's one of the best ways to fill your calendar with appointments if you know how to do it well, I still don't want to do it myself, but the phone is a great way to be in touch with people who already know you. They should be accepting your call if you've already spoken with them. So I can almost literally guarantee that there's a sale or two, or maybe more, if you take a look at what happened in the beginning of the year that did not close. Just reach out to them. I've shared this example many times. One of my biggest clients for many years was a company called Cablevision. Cablevision had a lot of different divisions that sold advertising, internet access, phone service, and things like that. And one of the divisions I worked with, actually two of the divisions I worked with, were in the same building. Whenever I visited one in order to do some training or coaching for them, I always made sure that at the lunch break, I went and stopped in by the other division just to poke my head in and say hello, give a wave, talk for a little bit. And I cannot begin to tell you how many times I did that. And here's what I heard. Oh, Jeff, I've been meaning to call you. I want to schedule some training, or I need you to do some coaching. I just haven't gotten around to it. Now, would those deals have come through anyways eventually? Sure, eventually. But when you put yourself in front of people, when you stay in contact with the people who have expressed an interest or who were interested enough but didn't buy at that time, you may very well find out that there's some business that you can get kind of easily just by picking up the phone and making a call. The other thing I wanted to share with you today is that because Q1 starts tomorrow, and I'm guessing that most of you won't be working tomorrow, whether for religious reasons or because you don't work on the weekends, but Monday is the real start to Q4. What happens in Q4 is the holidays. So there's a couple of thoughts I want to share with you about the holidays. Right now, you've got 8 weeks, if you're listening to this in America, until Thanksgiving. And I want you to know that I always think in two different ways. One is as a sales trainer and coach and sales manager, and the other one is as a salesperson who has to sell too. So I want you to know I live in the real world. As a manager, I want you to know that you can absolutely positively close business between Thanksgiving and New Year's, but that's not what most salespeople think. And I do live in the real world. Is it more difficult to close business between Thanksgiving and New Year's? A little bit, but you can still do it. And if you think you can't, which many people have expressed to me many times, Jeff, why even bother between Christmas and New Year's? I'm sorry, between Thanksgiving and New Year's. Christmas and New Year's even worse. I have that people telling me that all the time. And my thing is, yes, you can. When you're thinking you can't close business between either Christmas and New Year's or Thanksgiving and New Year's, I call that head trash. You've got a thought in your head that says, I can't close business. And guess what? If you think you can't close business, it's pretty likely that you're right. Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or can't, you're probably right. And in this case, you definitely are. I've often shared the example of summer. So typically in my business of sales coaching, about late March or early April, I start getting calls from frantic salespeople. Go, Jeff, what am I going to do? Summer's coming. Yet everybody knows you can't sell during the summer. Everybody knows that. Well, here's the thing for me. I don't know that. I know it's an accepted thought in salespeople that you can't sell during the summer, but I certainly don't know that. And when I ask them why you can't sell during the summer, by the way, I know the answer they're going to give me, but I want to hear them say it anyways. The answer is almost always, you can't sell during the summer because people are on vacation. Well, I took my first vacation in 12 years this summer. I was gone for 8 days. Now, some people think the summer is 8 weeks. Some people think it's 12 weeks. But me being gone for 8 days, that still left me at least 7 more weeks that you could have sold me something during this summer. I don't know anybody who takes the entire summer off, at least not in America. Maybe you've got a week's vacation that you're going to take, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3, but that still leaves plenty of time. So the thought that you can't sell during the summer because everybody's on vacation is simply head trash in your own mind. And that stops you from prospecting enough, reaching out to enough people, and closing business. And it's the same thing at the end of the year. Now, again, I live in the real world. Is it more challenging to reach people the week between Christmas and New Year's than the rest of the year? Sure, maybe a little bit. However, think about this. People are in holiday mode at that time. So if they are in their office, it's very likely that most salespeople are not contacting them because they've given up. So that's a great time to reach out to people. And because they're in holiday mode, they're pretty much more relaxed than usual. So this could be a great time to either close some business or at very least start a conversation that's going to propel you into closing business in Q1. Because while we certainly want to close business now, we always have to be looking forward to what's happening the next quarter and the next year. Good morning, Fran Cole-Hebler. I'm guessing that's you who says good morning from Texas. Always good to see you here. So now is the time to kick it into high gear, because while I say you can absolutely close business all the way through Q4, again, I live in the real world, and it can become slightly more difficult after Thanksgiving because people will be telling you that dreaded line, call me after the holidays. The question that I want to ask is, what's going to change? What's changing between Thanksgiving and New Year's? So the way I'll do that is I'll simply ask the question. Sales, as you heard me say many times, if you've been listening to this broadcast for at least a little while, is sales is all about the questions. So my question is, I'm just curious, what's going to change between now and the end of the year? What's going to change between now and when you want me to call you after the holidays? And the other thing to keep in mind is, when does your prospect want the benefit of what you have to offer them? I can tell you this about my business: sales training and sales coaching and sales outsourced sales management. Nobody is looking for the benefit a year from now. Everybody who I speak with wants the benefit of what I have to offer yesterday. In fact, the thing I hear many times is, Jeff, why didn't I know you a year ago or 10 years ago or 15 years ago? Well, I was here. I've been waiting for you to contact me too. So what's going to change, and when do you want to see the benefit? If somebody wants to see the benefit of better packaging or quicker delivering, like Ben Gifts offers, and sometimes better pricing too, or they want to see increased sales, or whatever any of you are offering, it's typically they want it now. Now, if you sell retirement programs, they don't want the benefit right now. They want that when they retire. So that could be an exception. There may be a few others. But for most of us, the people that we're trying to sell to and the people that may want to do business with us are looking for the results now. How can I get quicker delivery now? How can I get better customer service now? How can I get better pricing now? In my case, how can I increase my sales? How can I get more appointments with decision makers? How can I shorten my sales cycle? And how can I close more business more profitably? Because those are the things I bring to the table. Well, everybody who I speak with wants those yesterday. So don't take the line, call me after the holidays, call me in Q1. What that really means in most cases is, call me when hell freezes over. It's a stall. It's a way to get rid of you and a way to get rid of me. Now, I'm certainly not advising that you fight with people, but when somebody gives you a line like, call me after the holidays, my response is, I'd be happy to. I'm just curious though, what's going to change between now and then? So make certain that you get rid of the head trash that says you can't sell after the holidays. Realize it may be slightly more difficult to get an appointment starting around Thanksgiving, but don't let that stop you. Get rid of the head trash and make sure you continue prospecting. And given that we know it may be slightly more difficult at that point, now is the time to kick it into high gear. You have no time to waste. One of the things I preach to everybody I work with is time management is crucial, because you don't have time to waste. The more I can accomplish today, the more I can accomplish tomorrow. And that's what allows me to feed my family, which is the most important driver to me. So make sure that you're doing everything you possibly can, working at full speed. There are two words I use all the time with my coaching clients, and they are focus and velocity. So focus on one thing at a time. If it's prospecting, prospect your rear end off. If you need to do paperwork, do that with a complete and utter focus, and do it with velocity. Do it as if your job depended on it. Now, in most cases, none of you are getting fired tomorrow if you don't prospect heavily today. But put enough of those days together, not prospecting, and that means eventually you're not going to be closing enough business, and that could very well mean your job. But for somebody like me, a solopreneur, you're looking at Jeff Goldberg and Associates. By the way, I don't use that just to that title, that company name, to deceive people. I do have associates that I can call on to do other things that I don't bring to the table. Like, I have a relationship with an incredible world-class customer service person, Randy Bussey of Workforce Development Group. I used to do training for customer service training for my clients who wanted it. Once I met her, I realized my training was just not that great. It was good, but it wasn't nearly as good. So I do have other people in my sphere of influence that I can bring in to do other things. Steve Bookbinder, my mentor in the business, he does training. He does the same type of sales training I do, but he has a specific focus for people who sell digital advertising, which is a very different world. I don't even touch that. I would rather just give that over to Steve. So Jeff Goldberg and Associates, I do have associates, and they do specialized things. And like me, they're all of the same mind. Now is the time to kick it into high gear, because the end of the year is coming. And it's almost too late to call somebody like me and say, Jeff, I only have 12 weeks left. What am I going to do? Well, you probably should have called me at the beginning of the year, and you probably should have been taking action all year long. But it's not too late to kick it into high gear now and still pull out a very, very strong Q4, so that you end the year well and begin the new year. And I don't even believe the word New Year is coming out of my mouth. It seems like it's always New Year's, but you can end the year well and set up your new year for a great start. With that, I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds. If anybody has any questions, please put them in the comments. If not, that's what I've got for you today. Unfortunately, our guest backed out earlier in the week. Actually, she didn't really back out. She was having a conversation with me, and we agreed that it was probably not a great idea to do an interview. I will be back next Friday. I've forgotten who the guest is, but we do have a guest booked, and he or she, I promise, will be fantastic. I'm not seeing anything in the comments, so if nobody has any questions, I'm going to wish everybody a great weekend. For those of you who are down in the path of the hurricane, who has already passed, I hope you're all okay. We're only supposed to get some heavy rain here in New York this time. We've dodged a bullet, although we've been hit many times. But please take care of yourselves. Have a great weekend, and I'll end as I always do. Please remember that sales is a game of making things happen. So get out there and make sales happen. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks very much. See you next week.